good day, everyone, and welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope, and a new Nigeria is possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. Once again, here today, we are to discuss about the things that are happening in Nigeria. But again, we are going to travel all the way to the US to see what the court is talking about the Tinubu's LBI file, because the Freedom of Information request coming from David Hundeyin and Aaron Greenspan of Plain Sight indicates that the CIA and FBI and some other agencies who are involved in the matter have cited Tinubu as an American asset. So that is one of the breaking news that we'll be sharing today. Basically, that Bola Tinubu's drug trafficking case has drawn global attention as CIA now confirms through a court document that Bola Tinubu is their active asset. And netizens and citizens, Nigerians, are seriously reacting. And we'll bring you even the people who their lives has been threatened in Nigeria here, who, of course, has said that if anything happens to them, that the presidency and Bola Tinubu should be held responsible. But we'll get to that. We'll also bring you reports from the government spending portal that reveals that amid this very hardship that is happening in Nigeria, that Bola Tinubu's presidency has spent another 5.1 billion naira to purchase another 26 vehicles to the State House within the last 3 weeks. Those are the things that we'll be having the discussion. I'm not the only one to have the discussion. I have Angel in the studio, and of course, active citizens are on standby to react to this very CIA's assertion.
Good day, my well-active citizens and Obidient worldwide. Welcome. Tell your neighbors, say hope day, but not in our leaders or in our politicians, but in God. Nigeria is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. Welcome on board. Let's discuss.
Yes, wherever you are, please go to comment section. Tell us what you feel and join the conversation as we start this. It's very, very clear from the document, evidence that have been provided by David Hundeyin, the renowned journalist, whom we know his investigations has most often has been accurate, coming out to show evidence that the Central Intelligence Agency, that is the CIA of USA, on Monday confirmed that Bola Tinubu is the active asset for the USA. It was revealed at the United States District Court for the District of Columbia as the CIA, the FBI, and DEA filed a memorandum opposing a civil lawsuit requesting summary judgment and redactions in the Freedom of Information disclosure case about Bola Tinubu's drug trafficking investigation records. And in quotes, it also places in jeopardy every individual with whom the cooperating individual has had any contact. Thus, the indiscretion of one source is a chain of intelligence sources can damage an entire spectrum of source. That is one of the statements that was accredited. But let's quickly get to what David Hundeyin had to say to start with. And even the West African Weekly that reported this very incident. So let's take what David Hundeyin's tweet did of yesterday evening. He said that yesterday in federal court, the CIA, FBI, and DEA filed a memorandum opposing our motion for summary judgment in the Freedom of Information Act disclosure case on Bola Ahmed Tinubu's drug trafficking investigation records, where we are seeking to have the redactions removed from the partially released files. David Hundeyin continued that in the filing, the CIA effectively confirmed that Nigeria's sitting president is an active CIA asset, and except from the CIA filing reads, and in quotes what came out from the court document, human sources can be expected to furnish information to the CIA only when they are confident the CIA can and will do everything in its power to prevent the public disclosure of their cooperation. In the case of a person who has been cooperating with the CIA, official confirmation of that cooperation could cause the target to take retaliatory action against that person or against their family or friends. It also places in jeopardy every individual with whom the cooperating individual has had contact. Thus, the indiscretion of one source in a chain of intelligence sources can damage an entire spectrum of sources. As such, confirming or denying the existence of records on a particular foreign national like Tinubu reasonably could be expected to cause damage to U.S. national security by indicating whether or not the CIA maintained any human intelligence sources related to Tinubu and identifying any access or lack of access any such sources had to intelligence concerning him, being Chief Bola Tinubu. And if that wasn't bad enough, according to David Hundeyin, the DEA filing included a paragraph that literally said, and in quotes, "We oppose full unredacted disclosure of the DEA's Chief Bola Tinubu's heroin trafficking investigation records, because we believe that while Nigerians have a right to be informed about what their government is up to, they do not have the right to know what their president is up to." At this point, according to David Hundeyin, I think there is nothing more to be said about the direct role that the United States government plays in ensuring that Africa is constantly destabilized and afflicted with terrible leaders who create poverty and devastation. This is the last talk from David Hundeyin's tweet. But there is one thing, Angel, before we get to the people who are on board. They said that Nigerians have the right to know what their government is up to. But Nigerians don't have the right to know what their president is up to. One, yeah, as David said, an admittance of guilt that maybe Nigerians are not supposed to know what Chief Bola Tinubu himself is up to, thereby defending him. Then the other thing I realized from the court document that has been shown as evidence by David Hundeyin is that they classified Chief Bola Tinubu as an asset. More of saying he's an agent for the United States. Somebody who is a sitting president in Nigeria. Somebody who has every power to control our military. They call him Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Not just that, but Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yeah, it is so shocking that the US is confirming it. And my question is, what happens after the revelation and the information?
Yeah, a very good question. Let's take this thing before we get to the reaction on people who are commenting, but you can go to the comment section, tell us your take on this. But let's get our people who have joined us via Zoom now to get their reactions to this very particular information. Mr. Bassi, if you can hear me, you've heard this breaking news coming out that Tinubu's drug trafficking case has drawn the global attention. CIA, FBI, DEA all confirmed that Chief Bola Tinubu is their active asset, according to the court document that was presented by David Hundeyin. Can you please tell us your take on this, especially drawing a line where they said that Nigerians have the right to know what the government is doing, but they don't have the right to know what their president is up to? What is your take, Mr. Bassi?
What's your take, Mr. Bassi?
Thank you, Mr. Kanu. Good evening. And good evening, all the panelists. Good day, listeners across wherever you are listening from. I don't know why US is playing double standard. when it comes to issues that affect Nigeria and our whatever is happening today should not take any Nigerian by surprise, because we knew there were a lot of cover-up during the campaign, events leading to election. And we knew how several efforts were made by Tinubu's camp and the US to suppress or block every attempt to get information about Mr. Tinubu. And we also know how they promised to release certain documents by the FBI over a period of months. But they reneged on it because some people went to file a case that if those documents are released, it's going to impact on their client, which is Mr. Tinubu. And here we are today. These things are coming up. And I also want to say that there is no sincerity on the part of the US government in helping Nigeria resolve this riddle, because I call it riddle. It's been lingering for so long. And you know that these issues concerning Chief Tinubu dates back to when Fayemi was still alive. Gani Fayemi. So it's not new. And even some of the people who are ministers in his cabinet were in the forefront of trying to dig out his ugly past. But today, they've all changed their tune. They are all singing the song of his being the supporters. So what is coming out today or yesterday is not new. And it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, because US are not really willing to help Nigeria. Like David Hundeyin said, maybe if Trump comes assume power, we might likely see a slight change in some of these policies. So let's wait till then. But as it stands, I don't expect us getting anything positive in that regard. So it also shows us, goes to show that we Nigerians, we are not serious. When things like this happen, we expect a mass action from the people. But rather than having this, we all went to sleep, even when the judiciary decided to look the other way and play down on the issue. That as far as they are concerned, that the issue came late. It was not part of what was the plea from the lower court. So this is what it is, bringing technicality to suppress a lot of things. Well, we only hope that at the end of the 4 years, Nigeria would not have been sold. Our sovereignty would not have been compromised. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that a Joseph that knew no Pharaoh, a Pharaoh that knew no Joseph, will arrive on the saddle in US and then make policies that will give us access to some of this information. Thank you.
Thank you very much there. Let's quickly take in one of the reactions on X, and then we'll come back to Mr. Tony to see what his take is. Because we have a lot of reactions on Nigerians who actually took to their Twitter handle to express their disbelief, which obviously, like Mr. Bassi said, shouldn't be a disbelief for every Nigerian because it is open. But I think the major thing, Angel, that happened why it is called a breaking news is because this is the first time that US has actually coming out to confirm Chief Bola Tinubu being an asset and actually describe what they meant by somebody being an asset. So let's take one of the reactions coming on at this very time. I think you have something to say quickly.
Yeah, I think the American leaders already knew that they hooked Tinubu to do their bidding, and which is very bad for our own country.
And one of the confirmation, like we saw what happened a few weeks ago with the Binance man who was charged. Court did not
and released overnight.
Yeah, was not acquitted. He was accused of a very big crime, very serious crime in Nigeria. And before you know it, Biden had to even call and thank him for that, you know. So those are confirmations of these things. We have people who are being threatened, especially one of the reporter from the weekly is it West African Weekly, David Hundeyin's tabloid, where the person who published this story, that very place, have been threatened. And of course, as you can see in the screen, he obviously showed some of these very tweets of people who are threatening his life, that they are going to send him to prison because they even told him that he would be much more unfortunate after Pidom. So that is what you are seeing on the screen, a whole lot of people who are threatened. Then we have another tweet again, somebody who also had a reaction to this very particular incident. But let me quickly get to Tony before we get back to that. Yeah, Mr. Tony, please, I need you to, look at the perspective of why the American CIA and FBI told the line of action and explaining that Nigerians have no right to know what Chief Bola Tinubu himself is up to. Do you think that they are right by saying that Nigerians don't have the right to know what Chief Bola Tinubu is up to in terms of the drug trafficking investigation that is being requested through the Freedom of Information Act?
Thank you, Mr. Kanu. I'm glad to be here. I will just say, here we go again. This is a guy the USA tried to cover up his sins during the campaign. If not for some courageous judges that believe in the rule of law, the information we received earlier on, we will not have received it. America knows who Tinubu is, and they're trying to protect him. Can you imagine saying that Nigerians need to know what the government is doing, but not what the leader of the government is doing? Does that make sense? Tinubu is the leader of the government. So Nigerians have the right to know what their leader is doing. I think it's only in Africa that they can bend and twist and try to cover up something so egregious like this. If this is not treasonable, if this report is correct, what else is treasonable? Is it people demonstrating, kids demonstrating? They've been throwing the word treason, the presidency. Now, in my own view, this is real treason. This is treason. It's a treasonable action by this man called our president. He's kind of a Teflon politician. Look at all the evils and shenanigans he was accused of. And still, those who voted for him went ahead and voted for him. And those who were covering up for him went ahead and covered up for him. And nothing seems to be working against him. Now I can tell you, this one again will just go by the wayside because Nigerians will not act as they're supposed to act. Remember, I speculated when they were Ononuga and his co-travelers were pumping their fist high in the sky, saying that the American president called Mr. Tinubu. So, because of the flood, people that were flooded many weeks ago, and the release of the guy they detained, and then I said, American presidents don't just pick up a call and call another head of state because they released a citizen. It's quite unusual. And let me speculate again, because I said that call is not an ordinary call, that eventually we'll see what transpired. I can speculate again here that he was informed ahead of this revelation. Tinubu was now informed ahead of this revelation. And since this news came out, the presidency, they've done nothing trying to refute the report. They've kept quiet. And you wonder why. Are they trying to find a way to explain it away, again, like they normally do? Or are they dumbfounded that they can't, this one is beyond them to explain? We wait to see. But again, like Hundeyin said, not just America, but the Western countries, what they're doing to Africa is really horrible. They will not allow us to grow democratically. And they preach democracy. And I said it before. They see all these leaders trying to destroy the growth and of democracy in Africa. And they keep quiet. But when these guys in uniform say we can't take it anymore, you guys shift aside, we take over, they will start to scream, no, return to democracy, return to democracy. But they see everything that is going on, they know everything that is going on, and they keep quiet. Double standard that I've never seen in my life before. And we, as Africans, as African people, cannot rise up and say enough is enough. That we can't take this anymore. For how long are we going to be in bondage? Using our own people to suppress us. Who knows if Mr. Tinubu is also the Guinean government asset? They denied he was a Guinean citizen during the election. But Hundeyin was able to prove that he's a Ghanaian citizen. So we really need to dig in and then do something about this, because if this is true, this is treasonable. And the National Assembly should take note of this. They can't push it under the carpet. They cannot push it under the carpet. And if they succeed in doing that, then I say hope has finally gone in Nigeria.
I also think that just like you mentioned, I've seen the news, being discussed, or this very report of the matter in the U.S. court being discussed at various platforms, but I've not seen any of our mainstream media dealing with this. Meanwhile, this news is not a news that one says, okay, let me go and do a fact check, because David Hundeyin presented evidence coming out from the court in the U.S. and we're all quoting from a court document. So I don't see a reason why, like Channels Television or Arise Television, shouldn't they take this up. But let's quickly take one of the person I mentioned before, who is now being threatened, a person who actually published this very report on weekly, the West African Weekly. His name is Maiwa Aduro Simi. He is the person who published this very particular thing. He said, "Here we go again. Just in case I go missing, hold APC/Tinubu-led regime accountable, since many cannot comprehend the second and the third image that the CIA just admitted to what many have always suspected." Angel, before we get to ACO, that is Mr. Due Process, you see what is on the screen right now. The young man is threatened, and he's saying, just in case he goes missing, that Tinubu and his government will have to be held responsible. And it was very clear. People are attacking him. From what we see on the tweet that he showed, people are now talking about him getting arrested by the DSS, being harassed, and actually being sent to prison just because he presented what the court admitted into evidence in the United States. This is evidence. And that's why he said the third part, the second and the third part. He was clearly quoting what came out from the document excerpt from the court.
You know, APC and corruption, they are inseparable.
Oh.
They are like 5 and 6.
Bribery and corruption.
I'm telling you, they don't like truth. Because once you tell them the truth, they will begin to pursue the person.
But obviously, within last year, 2023, the truth and evidence of all of these things came out. This is just an affirmation.
Yeah, it came out. Even the judiciary didn't even help the matters.
Yeah. Everybody, most people understand this very part. But the part he's saying that people seem not to understand is this is a document that came out from the court. And the FBI and the CIA's response clearly shows that Chief Bola Tinubu is an asset. And they described it. But anyway, let's take more reactions. Mr. Ako, Due Process. Please give us your opinion on this. And for viewers, please go to comment section. Tell us your thoughts on this. Do you think that we are safe? Like Angel said, Nigeria is now sitting, or known to be sitting, in the keg of gunpowder. Mr. Ako, let's hear from you, your thoughts on this matter.
Kanu, good evening. Zoom panelists and all our listeners. The situation of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a well-established case at the U.S. courts, and the investigative journalists and well-meaning Nigerians and people of interest have requested for detail of the judgment as it was delivered. But the FBI, on its own hand, and the CIA agents, they are rather interested in their own national security by preserving details of those judgments. I'm not surprised, because since I came into being, all I've heard about the CIA and the FBI is all about their national security. They don't give a damn about any other country. So,
Okay, but Christian,
the question is, why is our mainstream media not taking this up? Because as you can see on the screen now, this very matter is not a hidden thing. Nobody can say it's a fake news. This documents that is being exposed by David Hundeyin and Aaron Greenspan comes from it's a document from the United States District Court for the District of Columbia. And what they are saying clearly by the depositions contained in the affidavits that is had from the memorandum of points that they have from FBI, they are certain that Chief Bola Tinubu is an asset. So, and somebody is now being threatened. And some of the things I want you to check immediately, to use 1 or 2 minutes to respond to. Why is CIA and the FBI asserting that Nigerians don't have the right to know what Chief Bola Tinubu is up to in the drug investigation matter?
Been underrated globally because they understand that we are captured people. They know that we rather talk about it 1 day, 2 days, and it will be over. The issue of as to whether we have the right or not, the same cannot be said about their own president. Imagine Biden or Trump being involved in this type of Tinubu case. Of course, they will not allow him near the White House. But in our case, they say we don't have the right to know. That is one. Then two, the FBI agent stuff that is being discussed here is not just a threat to Nigeria national security. It's a threat to global security because this guy, by virtue of being a Nigerian president, they have access to different global meetings. And there could be some implants in his system, in his body, that transmit all these messages to CIA agents, the FBI. They get to know about what you remember recently. He was in Islamic summit. What concerns Nigeria, a secular state with an Islamic summit? So he is only there for their own interest. Wherever they ask him to go, even if they ask him to go to the moon, he's going to go there, such that they will be getting information through his participation in such a summit. So the Nigerian situation needs not just the courts or the law helping the people now, because the law, the security agents, the law, they are all in the pockets of the guy in Aso Rock. So it's now on the people to end it all or to continue to suffer the consequences of our docility.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ako, all the way from Niger State. Tony, thank you very much. And of course, Mr. Basi, for bringing in your insight. There's so many reactions and of people that we had, and of course, we want to quickly make sure that we bring them up. But time is always of essence. We can't have all the time. But Angel, before we leave finally, outside of this discussion about Chief Bola Tinubu, I think what the last discussion was talking about has to do with Nigerian, not just about the people, what the people will react, because we see the reactions are not coming from the people, especially in the mainstream media, who should actually push it across so that Nigerians understand the impact of what is just happening, what CIA just said about Chief Bola Tinubu. But one thing again, probably that we mentioned we have not brought out has to deal with 5.1 billion. Recall some weeks ago, Chief Bola Tinubu's wife, Remi, said that Nigerian problem is spiritual and they need to join prayer. Of course, she said she didn't want to be the person leading that prayer, as the case might be. But the point is, they admitted that they feel the pains of Nigeria. But if you feel the pains of Nigeria and you know that Nigerians are hungry, that the economic meltdown is so much, why spending 5.1 billion naira on 26 new vehicles within 2 weeks?
You know, Tinubu already said he doesn't have the capacity to solve the hardship.
So it's to spend money and spend money.
Yeah,
is what
they
he has
keep
the capacity
borrowing
to do.
and they keep spending. Nigeria didn't vote for him, so he doesn't have any clue of what to do or how to solve Nigerian
now
problem.
I get that something you are talking about. That is where he said I can't solve hardship with solutions as instant coffee.
Exactly.
But he can solve problem within 2 weeks. Is to use 5.1 billion.
Because he
Something
borrowed
that
it. He borrowed it.
Wow.
He didn't work for it.
There's just so much things that are happening in Nigeria, and it seems Nigerians are still docile. People are not acting. But anyway, let's this as much as we can take. The time is really against us right now, and let's quickly round up and then see what the report will be coming up again on the other things that we have.
Yeah, my active citizens, we keep pushing, believing and hoping that when Trump enters, he will intervene in the interests of our own country. Yes, let God touch his heart to intervene so that our Nigeria will be a good country again. Because mainstream media cannot carry this type of news. Why? Because Tinubu and APC already caged the whole place. They can't. Instead, they will be shut down. So we are not surprised. Thank you so much, Mr. Ako, Mr. Bassi, and Mr. Tony. We appreciate you so much. God bless you. God reward you for being with us every day. We appreciate you. My active citizens, my obedient worldwide, thank you. Likes, subscribe, and share. Let other obedient know what's going on, that Nigeria is no longer safe. We need to act, and act now. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We love you. But God loves you more. Bye for now.